Hello everyone, this is Kat. Welcome back to another character feature episode. This time I will be talking about Baek Do-san. I am basing my pronunciation off of what I hear in the games. I will also be mentioning Hwarang, of course, so I am using that pronunciation because I think it is the one that I have heard the most, and it sounds best to me. Alright, so Baek was introduced in the series in Tekken 2. Once again, going to the Tekken Zaibatsu forums to look up the character profile provided by one of the fans. The translation states that he is the son of a Taekwondo master. His father received a career-ending injury, and after that he became a heavy drinker and eventually even got arrested. When things looked like they couldn't get any worse for Baek's family, his mother disappeared. Later on down the line, his father did escape from prison, but because he had been malnourished, Baek did not recognize him, and he killed him. Traumatized by the incident, Baek went insane. He couldn't even stand the sight of blood. When the police found him, they took him in, and they raised him. Over time, he grew up and became a Taekwondo master, just like his father. Then someone who knew about Baek's past with his father threatened to blackmail him if he did not destroy the blackmailer's competition. There had been an attack on martial law's dojo while he had been away, and a confrontation between Law and Baek is inevitable. Baek's Tekken 2 ending shows him looking at a locket that's probably him and his father. We then see some memories of the two of them together, and Baek smiles. Baek is not a playable character in Tekken 3. If you read Hwarang's profile for that game, you will find that Baek is listed to be a victim of Ogre. And Ogre does have some of Baek's moves. He then returns as a playable character in Tekken Tag Tournament. For his ending in that game, he is shown lecturing Hwarang. Baek is not in Tekken 4 at all. He is not even mentioned in Hwarang's profile, so that's it. He then returns as a playable character and part of the story in Tekken 5. There, his story goes that he had been attacked on his way home one day, and when he wakes up, the defense minister tells him that he had been in a coma for a year. The defense minister asks Baek to stay and help train soldiers. He hesitantly accepts, and then a year later he writes to Hwarang to tell him to come back to the military. And then the two decide to enter the Tekken 5 tournament. For his Tekken 5 interludes, Baek fights martial law at stage 4. There is no kind of special interaction regarding their previous history together. Instead, it's a very straightforward fight where Baek just wants to test his skills, and after winning, he tells Law that he holds instructional lessons on Sunday. He then later also has an interlude with Hwarang, where Hwarang approaches concerned, suggesting that Baek take it easy, but Baek tells him not to worry, and then after winning, he gets on Hwarang's case for needing to train some more. After Hwarang wins off, Baek then decides that it's time to find out what's really going on at the tournament. His Tekken 5 ending shows Hwarang about to fight 3 other guys, and Baek shows up to tell him that he's still getting into trouble, stops him. While distracted, the other guys knock Hwarang down to the ground, and then they all run up to Baek. They start to taunt him, ask who the hell he is, and Baek and he beats them up. And then he drags Hwarang away. For Tekken 6, we find that he had to leave the Tekken 5 tournament early when he received news of Hwarang's injuries in Hwarang's fight with Jin. Hwarang is hospitalized, and Baek feels wrought with guilt for not being able to prepare his student for that fight. Hwarang is unconscious for 3 days, and when he awakes, he begs Baek with newfound humility to train him to be stronger. So Baek agrees to go back to Korea, and they train, and then they are going to enter the Tekken 6 tournament. In Baek's Tekken 6 ending, he has defeated Azazel, and Hwoarang calls out for attention. Azazel then revives, goes in to attack Hwoarang, and Baek gives the big bad boss another solid kick, defeating it again. This time, Azazel's orb breaks, and the body disintegrates into a bunch of bugs, maybe locusts or something. However, right after that, Baek collapses, loses consciousness, and a very concerned Hwoarang desperately calls out for his master, leaving the possibility that Baek may have actually died in that moment. He is in the roster for Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and has not been announced for either Street Fighter Cross Tekken or Tekken Cross Street Fighter. As for my own opinion, I like him. He's not among those that I primarily use, but probably secondary. He's a decent man and someone who helps keep Hwoarang in line. Plus, he looks sharp in that fedora in his Tekken 5 ending. His story's not very good in the sense that it's not very consistent. His Tekken 2 story is considerably different than what we read and later see past Tekken 3, almost as if it never even happened. His return to the story in Tekken 5 doesn't state Ogre as being why he was in a coma during that time, just that he had been attacked. Regarding his potential death, well, it's kind of sad. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want him to die, but by that same token, I am not that worried. Not many characters die in Tekken, and even when they do, they are often replaced or even revived, so wouldn't really spend too much time worrying about it. For now, he's in Tag 2, and any possible Tekken 7 is a long ways off. He's around for at least one more game. Well, that's what I had to say on Baek, so as always, thanks for listening.